Hello, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to take care of your orchids in growing season so that they will be really strong and green and they will grow really fast. So there's so many ways that you can use to take care of your orchids in growing season. But today I'm going to share with you guys a method that there's so many people in my country use because it's really cheap and easy to use, and actually this is the most common ingredient to take care of the orchids in my country, which is rice water. Look at this rice water. I don't know about your country, but in my country, people eat rice. Most of the people eat rice every day, so we have rice water. And this is a very great ingredient to take care of the orchids because it contains vitamins, minerals, and nitrogen. Those things are really good for orchids to grow. And besides, it's really cheap and it's kind of kitchen waste. It costs nothing. But how to use this rice water? Let's get started. Okay, so how to make rice water is the thing that I want to talk about first. When you wash the rice, and you remove the water and you keep the rice to cook, so that water called rice water. It's really easy. This is the water when you wash the rice before when you prepare for the meal, and it depends on the type of the rice. If you live in a country that you always go to the market to get the rice, and the rice, those rice, I think that the rice water of those types of rice is not as good as this type of rice. My aunts grow rice in the fields, and we go to the field to take this rice home to eat. So the brand outside the rice is really good for the orchids. So I usually use the rice from my aunts, not the rice from the supermarket, so it has more nutrients. But don't worry, you can use any type of the rice that you have. Oh, don't worry about that because the nutrients of the rice water is not that much. It's not that different. It's okay. After washing the rice, we have rice water. So how to use this? There are several ways. So today I'm going to share with you guys several ways, okay? So the method number one, after washing the rice, I will use this and I will pour it directly to the roots of the orchids. And you can apply this to your orchids about, you can apply this to your orchids once a week. And you can apply this to your orchids all year round. In the grooming season, you can see that your orchids will have enough nutrients to grow because rice water contains mineral, vitamins, and nitrogen. So it's just enough for the orchids to grow. You can combine this with rainwater. Rainwater is really good for the orchids too, and actually that's the way we take care of our orchids, especially when we live in countryside. We don't have enough time and money to take care of the orchids the way that people in the city do. We don't spend that much money on growing orchids. Orchids is just type of, cheap plants in our country, and we don't take care of it that much. Only rice water is enough in growing season. But when it comes to blooming season, yes, we need to do something different. We need to provide the orchids with other ingredients too, but it's not something that I want to talk about today. It's just rice water. In growing season, rice water is enough, and just pour to the roots. Why? Because you can see that the bran outside the rice go into the rice water, and it can stuck to the sprayer easily. So it's really kind of, so it's not something that I want to spray to the leaves because it can stuck to the sprayer. And even when you use this, you can see that the bran will stuck to the surface of the leaves, and it will have stain, just like this stain. I don't like that, so I don't spray to the leaves. You can use other types of fertilizer to spray to the leaves, because when you use a sprayer to take care of the orchids, you can see that the leaves are really green and shiny. But I will talk about that on another video, so it's just rice water today. I'm going to water this with rice water too. Okay, that's okay. As I said before, if you want to take care of your orchids in growing season, rice water is enough. But if you really want to have your orchids grow faster, stronger, with greener leaves, you can combine the rice water with other ingredients. And I'm very lazy, so I'm going to tell you some lazy way. So today is Epsom salt. Epsom salt is a source of minerals, and when I add Epsom salt to this rice water, it can make just a pinch of Epsom salt. It can make a really great liquid for the orchids. And because Epsom salt contains sulfurs and a lot of sulfurs, so you can see that the leaves will become really hard. When you use minerals for the orchids, you can see that the leaves will become really hard and green. And I love that, because when the leaves hard and sturdy, you can see that the insects cannot attack the leaves, and you can have a big leaves. You can have so many big leaves, and the orchids will look fresh, healthy. And it's really easy to make, right? Just a pinch of Epsom salt to mix with the rice water, and yes, just pour to the roots because it can stuck to the sprayer. Actually, if you really want to spray this to the leaves, you can use a piece of cloth instead. Dip it to the liquid and then wipe the leaves. It really helps the leaves become stronger, greener, and fresher. But I will show you a lazy way so that you can do it for a long time. When you apply a method for your orchids for a long time, you can see the results, and you can follow that method for a long time, and you can see that your orchids will become really strong for years and years. So I just give you some easy methods so that you can stick to the plant for a long time. So that's the method number 2. So if you don't have Epsom salt, I will show you other methods that you can use to combine with rice water to have more effective liquid, which is vinegar. Vinegar is very good for the orchids too, and it's especially in growing season. I don't know about the growing season in your country, but actually in my country, growing season is summer and autumn. It's kind of really hot. It's about 35 or sometimes it's 40 degrees Celsius. It's really hot here in summer and even in autumn. So vinegar is an ingredient that I usually use because I feel like when I apply vinegar to the orchids, I feel like it is really strong and it is strong enough to suffer the hot weather. If you don't have vinegar, you can use other type of enzyme. I show you so many ways to make enzyme in the previous videos. You can check it out again. And here I just show you that I use vinegar because you have vinegar in the kitchen. Any type of vinegars will work, so don't worry about that. Just about 1 or 2 mils of vinegars, okay, to mix with rice water. Okay, and yes, just water the root. If you don't want to make the sprayer stop by the rice water, just pour to the root like this. It's very simple, it's very easy. You can use this method every year and in any time of the year. And there's one thing that I want you to remember when you use rice water, which is rice water is kind of enough nutrients for the orchids to grow, so be careful when you combine this with other fertilizers. For example, if you still use NPK for the orchids, you have to reduce the amount of rice water to take care of the orchids, because even though it is the natural method, but when you use rice water too much, it can harm the orchids. Just enough, too much fertilizer, it's just like too much food, and you may kill your orchids by that way. Okay, so that's 2 methods that you can use to use rice water to take care of your orchids. I am showing you other ways to use rice water. Okay, so because I eat rice every day, so I have rice water every day, and I just use that rice water to take care of the orchids. In summer, when it is really dry, when the media dry, almost after 2 or 3 hours, I will use rice water twice or 3 times a week. But when spring, when it is almost rain every day, I don't use rice water that much. I will use about once a week. So remember that, don't use rice water for your orchids if the medium is not dry, because rice water, you can see that it contains a lot of bran, and if you use too much rice water and your orchids wet, the orchid pot wet for a long time, and because the bran inside this, it will cause root rot. So remember this, don't use too much rice water. And the other things that I want to talk about is that if you don't eat rice water every day, you can store the ice water for several months just by store this rice water in a bottle with some sugar. You can keep about 200 ml of rice water and about 5 grams of water mixed together and keep it in a bottle. Close the lid tightly, but please remember that it will release a lot of gas in several weeks, so release the gas every day and then shut the lid again. And you can keep that rice water for about 1 or 2 months. But when you use that rice water, please remember that you keep it in the bottle for 1 month and you add sugar, so all the nutrients inside the rice water will be fermented, and because of that rice water is kind of, more nutrients than this type. So when you use that, you have to mix the rice water with water before you take care of your orchids. For example, you take only 50 ml of those rice water to mix with 100 ml of water, and then you pour to the roots just like I did before. So rice water is very good for your orchids, but you need to understand that you have to give the orchids enough. Don't give it too much rice water. Okay, so that's all for today. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Here I will show you the orchids in growing season. It grows really well with new leaves here. Okay, just by using rice water. In growing season, only rice water and rainwater is enough for the orchids, but because I want my orchids have greener leaves or stronger roots, I sometimes will give it more and more fertilizer, but it's actually not necessary at all. If you only use rice water for the orchids, you can see that it's just enough for the orchids. Trust me and try this method. Okay, thanks for watching and see you next time.